You can turn up the
Turning myself
volume.
up right now.
Yeah.
But I did, Coles. Thanks for the info. All right. Whenever you're ready, buddy.
We're ready. Okay, cool. Here we go. So we read the intro. This is Human in Equestria, 80% speed run. Kill Celestia ending. Here we go. Setup. Fallout Equestria was one of my favorites growing up. Good luck to the runner, and I can't wait to see how they turn 600,000 words into 5.5 paragraphs. Hype! Thank you very much for the donation. And we also have a $200 donation from Anonymous that says, "Greetings from Germany." It was almost time. He glanced... bad pun, my bad. It was almost time. He glanced toward the sound crew table and nodded. The tech gave one last adjustment to his mic and hurried off stage. Elaine Harrison had hit the big time. He was up on the main stage of the world's premier speedrunning event, and his nerves were already starting to get the better of him. He menued through to his game settings for the 5th time in as many minutes, quintuple checking every setting, and especially checking for that the full start option had been disabled. No need to start the run with a disaster like that. Chat would never let him live the end of it. Never let him live it down. He selected start, and a pony creator menu popped up. A gray, expressionless pony stared back, blank, but brimming with possibilities. Perhaps this would be the one. The one to get him the world record. Imagine that, a record, live on camera, in front of tens of thousands of audience members, here and online. I'm just joining. It was hard to believe that this had all started as a joke. He had no particular interest in ponies. Sounds like Flashbang. But the guy behind him, his couch co-commentator Gage, was at least a casual fan. If by casual,
hang on. Whose mic is crackling like that? Is really
annoying. It's
unlived.
It's unlived.
Yeah, dude. It's unlived.
You gotta mute that thing, son.
Can you turn on like voice suppression or something?
You're banned.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yep, you're banned.
No.
Yeah, actually, it is going to be a ban. We're going to go ahead and ban you.
I'm for now.
Oh, thank you. All right. Glad you're here, Unlived. It was okay. If by casual one meant insane enough to spend 12 hours a day grinding any % good ending. Although he was practically normal and well functioning compared to most other speedrunners, and MLP fans for that matter, he never revealed how or why he had started running it. Gage, just Gage, no pretend names, was the sole reason he was even here. On Elaine's first ever live stream on Hitch TV, Gage had challenged him to a race of this game. But every time the player character started crying or said friendship, they would take a shot and see who could survive the longest. Elaine couldn't remember even half of what had happened on that stream, but he definitely lost. And it was wild. That day he became Pony Runner 420, or just Pony Runner, as the stream overlay called him. Strict no funny numbers policy. Within a week, he was well and truly down the rabbit hole, with the sole goal of making the run as short and as cutsceneless as possible. The bad ending category was the obvious choice. Of course, he had branched out into plenty of other speed games, but there was still something that kept him coming back. Something special, in spite of how janky and silly the game was, or perhaps because of it. Pony Runner turned to face the couch. There was Gage, getting his mic adjusted by the audio guy. And he frowned. To Gage's left, there was another guy, just sitting there on the couch. He didn't recall requesting another guy to commentate, suspiciously far from Gage too. In the way one does when they don't really know someone, and they probably shouldn't be here. He had the distinct look of someone who had just been turned up, inserted themselves into a random friend group, and just hoped everybody would think he had been invited by somebody else. And he was wearing a Rainbow Dash shirt. Huge red flag. Coles, I didn't know you were in this story.
Yeah.
Pony Runner gave Gage a patented speedrunner look, and glanced towards the other guy, a look exclusively understood by speedrunners to mean, "Who is this guy?" Gage replied with another look, which conveyed, "No clue, dude." The last thing he wanted was one of those situations during the run. It'd be a terrible shame and a huge embarrassment if his first marathon appearance and the first showcase of this run was just weird, uncomfortable drama. Clipped and shared on every social media site under the sun, and several under the moon, probably. He looked over at the tech station, hoping to catch the eye of some technician or other. No one was looking at him. The donation reader was just announcing his run. It was already too late. Gage gave him one last meaningful look. If anything happens, I'll manage it. Just focus on the run. He had this. He had to have this. And I've just heard that this is time. That it is time. Up next is a run of Human in Equestria by Pony Runner. A moment passed. The crowd clapped modestly. You're on screen, said a voice in his ear. Here goes everything. All right, I believe this is you, Flashbang.
Hello, Fast Horse fans. I'm Pony Runner, and this is a human. Oh, this is Human in Equestria, Kill Celestia %, and I am joined by my couch commentators.
He turned to face the couch behind him. Let's see how this goes. Who wants to be Gage?
That's cold.
Anyone?
You can do it since you're already
No,
narrating.
no. This is Cole's.
This is Cole's.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
right.
Cole's. I'll be Gage. Hi, I'm Gage, and I run this game. The Enchanted Library.
And I'm Rainbow Dash Fan 266. I run 100% for the Human in Equestria, and friendship is optimal.
Well, that explains why he's here and the shirt. I wonder what happened to the other 265 Rainbow Dash fans.
He ate them.
Oh man. True Ending was an absolutely deranged category. Easily 50 plus hours of time invested. Most people would get bored halfway through a run and give up. Maybe come back for one last session to prove they totally hadn't given up, and they definitely had the motivation to finish before abandoning it for real. Maybe this guy had submitted to the marathon. The organizers went, haha, no, and put him on this couch as a commentator instead. Before we start, hold on, this is you, my bad.
Before we start,
He looked over at the donation reader. He couldn't see the commentator's table from where he was sitting, but they had one of those ASMR voices, which was basically all that mattered. What palette won the bid war?
That was flashback.
Palais.
It was? Okay.
Yep.
So true.
Is it
Sorry.
Palais? I think it's Palais.
Palette. It's palette.
Oh, okay.
This is not CS2.
My bad, dude. What palette won the bid war?
Give me a second. Looks like yellow coat and red mane won.
Nice. The classic Various suit look.
He knew putting based after that choice in the donation tracker was a good idea, especially since he quickly customized the blank pony, selected unicorn, fucking supremacists, made sure the full start option was disabled for the 6th time, and rotated the pony sideways so the audience could see the screw attack power-up cutie mark on its flank. A harmless texture edit, and totally legal by the category rules. A few members of the crowd went, woo! And one guy in the back screamed, "It's Samus!" at the top of his lungs, prompting laughter from the rest.
Or Sunset Shimmer.
So true. So the Rainbow Dash guy. Pony Runner had no idea who that was. This is you, Flashbang.
We're all ready to kill Celestia. Count us in.
Clip that, chat. He hovered over begin. 3, 2, 1. And Celestia shoveled another waffle into her mouth. Luna was uncharacteristically late to breakfast. Something must have come up during her dream realm escapades. After the Starlight incident, Celestia knew all too well how awful that place could be. Maybe if the retirement master plan worked out, Luna would get a taste for freedom and relaxation. Then perhaps Celestia could finally convince her to get an apprentice, or let the Shadow Bolts deal with it like they were supposed to. Luna had, perhaps unsurprisingly, become obsessed with her public image since she'd returned. She was absolutely mortified at the prospect of them impersonating her in the dreams of little fillies and Colts Equestria over. No matter how much Celestia tried to reassure her that they were all still dream magic professionals. She turned her ears towards the door as the sounds of hoof steps echoed down the hall. Very stompy. Definitely a bad night. The door handle was wreathed in blue magic, and in stepped Luna, bags under her eyes and snout scrunched into a frown. Celestia swallowed the waffle. Celestia,
Good morning, sister.
she said with a slightly restrained cheerfulness.
Ugh.
Can there reply?
That bad?
I went into the nightmare of a little cult, and it was one of those dreams. The one where you're late for a test, but you can't leave until you find your quill, you know?
Celestia nodded. She knew all too well.
Well, I spent an eternity chasing that cult down an endless
Are you
maze of...
Celestia?
I'm
Wait, no,
living.
you're right. This is Luna, my bad.
Luna.
I'm
think
so
so, yeah.
sorry.
Stay in your lane.
Okay.
Well, I spent an eternity chasing that cult down an endless maze of locker rooms, trying to return his quill to quell the nightmare. And when I caught up to him, do you know what he said?
Celestia's face fell this again.
He said, "You're not the real Luna. The real Luna says thee and thou."
Did you get angry again?
She said, taking another forkful of waffle. Honestly, the Shadow Bolt should be the least of her concerns. That
No,
hurts.
sister, I did not get mad this time. That is why I am mad now.
Luna picked a pineapple out of the fruit bowl and bit it in half, spikes and all. Celestia winced. One of these days, she really ought to teach her how to eat them properly.
I do not speak like that. Why does every pony still think I speak like that? Did I waste 4 months of my life in speech therapy for naught?
She said, spraying pineapple-flavored spittle across the tablecloth. She was getting dangerously close to Royal Canterlot volume.
Lulu, please.
Good
It
Celestia.
takes time for ponies to adjust their expectations. We've been over this.
Luna merely,
But I can tell that it is not what's really bothering you, is it?
Luna seemed to deflate as the anger seeped out of her.
The entire time I was there, I felt that I was being watched by something.
In the cold stream?
No, in the dream realm itself, it felt alien,
She frowned.
as if thousands of eyes were suddenly turned upon our world from somewhere outside.
It was Celestia's turn to frown.
And you have any clue what that's supposed to be?
She shook her head.
No, I just feel as if something is about to happen, and happen fast.
Damn right.
For any percentage. Anyway, you see who this is.
2 seconds.
So
That's me.
yeah,
He opened.
so, this is Flashbang.
So the first thing you need to know is that literally every single cutscene is unskippable.
He opened his eyes. Above him, the midday sun filtered through gnarled and twisted tree branches. He squinted against the light. This wasn't his room. He turned his head to the side. He was entirely surrounded by trees, a forest so thick that he could hardly see 10 feet between the trunks. He was in some sort of partial clearing. A path stretched out before him. There was only one explanation. Obviously, he had gotten blackout drunk at the party last night and wandered off into the woods. There were no woods anywhere near either his house or the party. But he did have a splitting headache, which lent some credence to the theory. He reached up a hand to massage his aching scalp and slammed himself in the face. It was yellow, and a hoof. At least he knew where this world lay on the spectrum of pony hoof hardness. I need to see who this is.
It's me. I think.
Okay.
So while we're
Yeah.
waiting for this nonsense, I'd like to take a moment to explain some quick things we won't have time for later. Like I said, every cutscene's unskippable, theoretically. We're going to take some drastic measures to get around this.
The yellow pony slowly got up, up on shaking hooves as the camera circled behind him.
So the first thing I need to explain is horn canceling.
In an instant, the pony lunged into a forward at incredible speed, as if a timberwolf had taken a bite out of his tail. The instant he connected with the ground, however, a surge of green magic flared through his horn. The former human was upright in an instant, hoof to forehead in pain. But an instant later, he was rolling forward, then another flash of green light.
Basically.
Pony Runner could already see the chat spamming basic Mingli out of the corner of his eye.
I'm canceling the hold on, sorry. I'm canceling the slow wind down part of the roll with this. You can't use magic animation. And canceling that into another roll. This is the fastest movement that we have at this stage of the run. Even if we weren't forced to walk really slowly for this segment. It's still faster than running with an unupgraded stamina. Unfortunately, it only works while we don't have magic. We will not be upgrading stamina this run, but we will be getting magic for reasons. Very specific reasons.
The ex-human rolled directly off the road into the thicket.
As you can probably guess from the category name, our main goal right now is to get to Celestia, who is in Canterlot. In a casual playthrough, there are two main ways to get there. Either we take the train, or if you're a Pegasus, you can fly there.
The small yellow horse with horn continued to awkwardly stutter roll through the forest. Ignoring the various uncanny sounds surrounding him, his purpose singular and absolute.
You're probably thinking, Pony Runner, funny number. Are you a unicorn? Why don't you just fly there? See, thing is, Pegasi are actually very slow.
Pony Runner risked a glance at the stream monitor. He wasn't sure, but the Rainbow Dash guy whose username he couldn't remember looked like he was frowning.
Not only do you have to do a whole quest thing to learn how to fly, which takes ages by itself, but unicorns are just insanely broken. You'll see. As a unicorn, we're going to learn everything we need to beat the game in the next 3 minutes.
He rolled directly off a cliff.
Oh.
Oh, that's me.
Pony.
So
It's
Pony-
Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no. I
Pony
misread it. I
Runner.
misread it. I misread it. I misread it.
Oh.
Pony Runner said solemnly. He plunged into the treetops below. The screen faded to black.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Wait, bro, said Gage. Were you going the right way?
Sorry, I thought this was the right way.
What's that? Oh, that's Cole's.
Was that a death?
Asked Dash Guy incredulously. The audience was already laughing. They knew this bit.
Can we start over? I think we have enough time.
The screen turned white. A sterile white tiled ceiling slowly materialized.
Hey, just kidding.
There was laughter and mild applause at a bit well executed. Gage. It's like Demon Souls, said Gage. This is a forced death. Normally you just follow the path, pick up a few items, learn the controls. Then you get your cheeks clapped by a Timberwolf. But if you die at any point, you just wind up in Ponyville General anyway. So PR intentionally dies here to hurry the process along.
A long
Pony Runner.
cutscene coming up.
Said Pony Runner.
So now would be a great time for some donations.
Who wants to be Nurse Redheart?
Roseblade. No,
I'll who's not have a second roll? You know, Vicer, it's you.
I don't. Okay.
Nurse Redheart had the worst luck. Nursing
Heck,
was difficult. Say again?
So I was gonna go with the Geneva Convention violations because he's German.
God. Doesn't exist here. Nursing was difficult enough at the best of times, but all the worst. Most nonsensical emergencies just had to happen during her shifts. Hers and Dr. Horse's, for some reason. Her patient had been discovered by pure chance by a passing Pegasus. Evidently he had fallen, or Celestia forbid, jumped off a cliff in the middle of the Everfree. Why was he in the Everfree? No pony knew. No pony knew anything else about him either, for that matter. She glanced down at the patient file in her hoof. No known medical history, no name, no identifying features, no record of his cutie mark. No missing ponies, reminds me of that one green filly, she thought. No missing ponies report. And oddly, no major injuries. One would expect falling off a cliff to have a more adverse effect on one's health, but the unicorn was either very lucky or skilled with magic. He had escaped with nary a scratch. Nothing but sprains, bruises, and a concussion, which was still dangerous. Don't get her wrong, but much less severe than it should have been. She pushed open the door. The unicorn was still lying there unconscious, position unchanged. Red Heart knew it was none of her business, but she'd really hoped he'd have woken up by now. If only for the selfish reason of asking him what the buck his deal was. It was when she moved to change his IV drip, however, that she got her wish. She felt an itching in the back of her skull as if thousands of eyes were boring into her. But when she turned, she found only one pair staring back, unblinking. His eyes were gray. Specifically, that sort of gray that said intentionally left blank, as if someone had forgotten to pick a color for them.
Oh, is that me?
No, this is Nurse Redheart. Oh, that is your character.
Yeah.
Oh, good that you are awake. Any
She
pain?
said-
Any discomfort?
The yellow unicorn simply groaned in response.
That's bad, huh? I'll take on with Dr. Horse and see about getting you some painkiller.
The itching in her skull had been upgraded to a buzzing feeling. It was like some pony talking to her through a very thick ball, if that ball was her skull.
It looks like we don't have your details. Could you perhaps tell me your name, dear?
His reply was instant.
Hey.
Redheart flinched.
That's interesting name. Nate Ponies, I think.
Fun
Fun
fact.
fact.
Said the unicorn.
Oh.
Napanese is technically the fastest language, but in any percent, it actually doesn't really make a difference.
What is this guy talking about? She wondered. Maybe the head injury was more serious than any of them had realized.
It only adds up to about 1/10 of a second because of how dialogue boxes work. They display characters one at a time, but you can just mash through them to instantly complete the text box. Cutscenes all take the same amount of time regardless of language. There's one part of the run where you can't do this, but it ends up not mattering for a different reason. I'll point it out when we get there.
Excuse me, sir, can you?
Don't worry, I'm fine, I think.
Said, almost immediately.
Just a little confused.
That's great. I just need nothing difficult.
He nodded.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
Brilliant. He wasn't saying anything, but Redheart couldn't help but feel he was interrupting her constantly. Oh well, just get on with the tests. She circled round to the front of the bed and held up her clipboard.
If you could look.
The mystery stallion's head snapped to the board.
Oh, okay.
She
Now,
moved the
Pen.
clipboard to the left. His head was already in motion before she had finished her first syllable.
Not sure why they put a camera tutorial here when we've already had to use the camera to get this far, but okay. That gives me time to explain what we're about to do.
I guess this would be you, Vicer.
Okay. Who in Tartarus was this guy talking to? And what is he saying?
Yeah, this is
Coming up is a kind of gross cutscene where a character tries and fails to use the toilet. It's really weird and uncomfortable. I don't know why the devs always insist on including this kind of stuff. Because they're running.
Tamers must have been on this, must have written this.
Yeah, honestly.
I have a few theories, Gage said, but I don't think I can say any of them on stream. The Rainbow Dash guy looked like he was about to add something, but Pony Runner quickly nipped the conversation in the bud.
Regardless, we're skipping it, so you won't have to subject yourselves to it.
He was about to talk about Tamers. Pony Runner turned and gave Gage a "weren't you the one who was supposed to stop weird stuff from happening on stage" glance, which Gage countered with, "You know I'm right though, look."
A lot of the trigger volumes aren't actually tied to progression.
Said Pony Runner, returning to the game.
So generally speaking, as long as we can get to the right location or talk to the right NPC, we can make progress without actually watching any of them first.
This is Redheart.
No.
And here,
This
part of
not-
the
this is
room.
not-
That
Redheart.
is. I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry.
See, you're always
Flash
wrong.
screen.
You're always wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to track. It's weird.
And here, part of the roof actually doesn't have collision.
Redheart looked up. There was a tile missing, leaving a pitch black hole in the otherwise sterile ceiling. If there was a crawl space above it, she couldn't see into it. When she lowered her head, her patient had disappeared.
So it's time for some parkour.
Came a voice to her left. Standing on top of a crash cart was A, looking more goat than pony. Before Redheart could utter a single letter of disapproval, he had leapt clear across the room and landed atop a storage cabinet in the far left corner. With one final, almost majestic leap, he sailed straight through the hole and disappeared into the ceiling. Nurse Redheart screamed. Vicer, if you would.
I heard you try.
Good enough.
I heard him try.
Redheart slammed open the door and skidded into the wide hallway. She could hear her patient talking above her.
We need to be careful with the seam walk here.
There was a thunk as 4 hooves landed above her on the other side of the corridor, followed by rapid hoof steps as he disappeared down it. For a pony who'd been unconscious not 60 seconds ago, he was fast.
Our goal here is to fall back in bounds into Dr. Horse's office so he can teach us telekinesis. Theoretically, we could just leave the hospital now, but there are a couple skills we have to unlock here that are critical to the run.
Redheart was at full gallop, but the voice was already receding into the distance. This is amazing. Dr. Horse. Who wants to be Dr. Horse?
I'll do it.
Very well. Dr. Horse relaxed. After the excitement earlier, he had turned out to be nothing life-threatening. Things had become surprisingly quiet at Ponyville General. That is, until a yellow unicorn fell out of the ceiling directly next to his desk. Dr. Horse spat out his coffee.
I'm having trouble using my horn.
Said the uninvited guest. Horse was instantly overwhelmed. But after years of living in Ponyville, his brain knew the best course of action for dealing with the confusing and incomprehensible. Just clock out for the day. Hit the bricks. He reverted to general practitioner mode.
What seems to be...
Said Horse, but the other unicorn was already speaking.
I guess after the accident in the Everfree, I must have lost my ability to use magic.
He was behaving exceptionally suspiciously, but Dr. Horse was far too far gone to notice or care.
You're a unicorn. Can you help me learn unicorn magic?
Well, certain. If you would, stand there and I'll demonstrate.
Horse picked up his coffee mug and his magic.
Now you just have to now focus on press RB to.
Well done, honestly. So
That
good.
was realistic. Oh.
Especially your microphone actually cuts out the mic as if it's a cutscene.
So good.
I just bought this 3 days ago. It's probably bad.
it's perfect. Horse had no. It's like playing a PS1 game. Horse had no idea, or PS2 game. Horse had no idea what he had meant by RB. But this stallion obviously did. He wrapped the box of syringes that Dr. Horse hadn't actually pointed out to him yet in green light and quickly lifted them and threw them across the room in the general direction of where Dr. Horse hadn't yet told him to put them,
A good first start, if a bit excessive.
said Dr. Horse, but the other unicorn was already on the move, taking as if he were narrating his actions to some creature invisible.
Now that we have TK, everything is broken wide open.
He said, blasting the office door open with his apparently newly rediscovered magic. Nurse Redheart skidded to a stop directly outside, almost like he had timed this.
You
Ah, Nurse Redheart. I was just helping our
Well,
dear.
no, this is Scrimmy.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is Scrimmy.
This is me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is you.
This
This is you. This is you. This is you.
Right here.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
it is.
Oh, Nurse Redheart. I was just hoping our dear patient return relearn unicorn telekinesis.
Dr. Horse smiled, but his empty eyes betrayed him. She knew that look. Don't question it. Just do your job and let somebody else deal with him. She gulped.
Hey, you ran off before I could run your whole script check. I don't know.
It's actually faster to do it in this order because the cutscene skips.
Right. Sure. Anyway.
She pulled out a thermometer, and the red-headed unicorn instantly pressed his hoof against it. He seemed desperate to get this over with, and she was happy to be rid of him. There was no grip strength reading. The needle did not move. Buck.
Oh, that's. Let me try. Press X true.
She extended her right hoof shakily. The stallion grabbed on her hoof with his own and violently yanked back. Thanks Celestia, she was an earth pony, or this guy would have sent her flying across the room.
Thanks, I'm feeling much better now.
He said, and then in a completely different tone of voice added,
So this is basically the inventory tutorial. I'll explain why we need this later.
Right.
she lied.
You're discharged. You can leave now. The exit is.
But he was already in motion.
TK is absolutely cracked. It's the whole reason this run is possible. Imagine Half-Life 2, Sonic 06, and Breath of the Wild combined.
He sheathed a crash cart packed against the wall in his magic. Oh no. In one swift movement, he leaped into the air, twisted 180 degrees, and blasted the cart directly into his own back. Both he and the cart sailed down the corridor as ungracefully as a rock and ragdolled against the far corridors.
This is the fastest form of movement.
There were echoes of laughter. Before either Dr. Horse or Nurse Redheart could comprehend the true nature of this maneuver, he had already picked the cart and himself up. He positioned the cart at a roughly 45-degree angle from the door and wedged himself into the gap between them.
This is called a drop clip.
He said, followed by,
Wait, angle's wrong.
he picked up the cart and it moved imperceptibly. I can just see this. Redheart and Horse could only stand and gape as he dropped the cart, picked up the cart, and then threw it at the door, pushing his upper body directly through it. He picked himself up and pulled his rear end through after him. Redheart,
Oh yeah. That's not the exit.
said Redheart. She felt like she could hear hooves stomping in celebration. Or was that?
Or was that? I don't know.
Both of their heads snapped backward towards the clip-clop sounds rounding the corner behind them. It was purple, had a horn, and had wings.
Oh
Let's kiss.
no.
Oh, it's hard.
Oh shit.
Over.
Oh, Nurse Redheart. Wait, am I reading that? Dr. Horse.
Said Princess Twilight Sparkle.
Can you help me with something? Princess Luna thinks there's some sort of disturbance in the dreamscape, and I think I've narrowed down to the source of somewhere in this hospital. Have either of you seen anything strange recently?
It was going to be one of those days. The author's note. That means it's good.
Yeah.
4 minutes. Okay.
Next
Is that 4
chapter.
seconds?
Lyra or Lyra?
Lyra.
Lyra.
Lyra, okay.
Applejack had just crossed the bridge into Ponyville when she saw him, a yellow unicorn with a red mane, standing almost horizontally on the side of a barrel, which he appeared to be levitating, was flying directly towards her and her cart at very high speeds. Whatever was going on, it seemed dangerous.
I
Who's
think I
AJ?
should probably stop him.
That's it.
Oh, whoa there, partner.
She yelled, pulling out her lasso, which of course she always kept on her at all times. With a flick of her neck, the lasso sailed over the unicorn and his strange transportation device. Applejack pulled down hard, yanking the strange pony to the ground. And out of whatever spell he was under, the barrel split, spilling apples everywhere.
Nice. Hit the trigger.
He said.
The heck? Is this one of my apple barrels?
She bent down to meet the stranger's eyes.
What exactly do you think you're doing? Someone could have been hurt, including you.
She glowered at him. The unicorn gulped.
Oh, you see. This is another unskippable one, so more donations if you got them.
Said Pony Runner. Oh, actually, said Gage. What's the status on the incentive? That's coming up fairly soon. The donation reader cleared his throat. Let me see. So far, Twilight is in the lead with $32,118.69. What the hell?
Me and Gage gotta say it at the same time.
I got real pan.
3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Nice.
So Reddit.
And so good. And tone to both Gage and Pony Runner, followed by a delayed and muttered "nice" from the
Nice.
the Rainbow Dash guy, followed by Rarity with $20,000.32.
Fortunately,
Said Pony Runner.
all of you are wrong. Where's Luna in the running?
That's what Schwartz is asking.
For real.
Luna is actually third with 15K. Guys, please come on, step your game up. PR is on record pace, said Gage. She's not just best princess, she's fastest princess. Holy shit, Schwartz, is this you?
Yeah, I think Gage is yours.
Maybe we should let him voice it.
Yeah.
Said Pony Runner.
Don't you want to go fast? I thought this was a speed run. Shaking my head over here.
Nah,
Said the Rainbow Dash guy smugly.
I'm voting for best pony Dashy. Everyone vote Rainbow Dash.
He called out. But Gage only smiled as he turned to face his co-couch commentator.
Oh,
I'm making
that's
Schwartz-
Oh,
I'm
this
making
is me,
Schwartz-
Gage?
making
Okay.
Schwartz
Yeah,
Gage, yeah.
Oh, she's not an option.
Huh?
The smile sloughed off his face.
We never see her in any percent or Fluttershy and Starlight actually.
You're fucking
It's-
kidding me.
If we were Pegasus, she'd be here instead of Applejack. We skip her in all other appearances.
This fanfic is terrible. We're not gonna read it.
Cole sounded so depressed.
Just
Why am I
Starlight?
here?
that's insane. No Starlight. That's crazy. Also, Fluttershy at the beginning is it wouldn't be good either for him. So back to Crimmy.
So, you're telling me that you're an alien from another dimension. You don't know how you got here and we're all fictional characters?
Pretty much.
That plumb near the craziest thing I ever heard.
You're the element of honesty. You tell me if I'm lying.
Sure, Cube, I'm not a lie detector. Believe me, if I was, I could avoid a whole heap of mess of problems.
Well, believe it or not, the facts remain. I don't have money, food, or a place to stay, or a way home.
Said A.
I'm A.
Yeah, you're A. Applejack's expression softened.
I suppose that's true. Maybe I'm being too harsh on you. Even if you do seem, well, either way, after I take care of this delivery, I guess I'll take her to see Rarity. She'd probably have something for you to do while I'll take her to Twilight about all this.
Suddenly, a change came over the unicorn.
So the way this section works is it's kind of a reverse escort mission. Gage, can you explain this one?
Sure. So Applejack is gonna take us around Ponyville, show us the sights. You get the idea. It's kind of freeform. You can wander around, talk to ponies, do whatever.
Applejack raised a solitary eyebrow at this, but nevertheless continued to pull her cart into the Ponyville outskirts. A was sticking uncomfortably close by her side.
AJ has 3 states: escorting, wandering, and waiting. What she's doing now is escorting. If we get too far away from her, she'll say something like,
The unicorn
Don't wander
suddenly-
off, Sugar Cube.
That and the game won't let us move away. There's a soft boundary surrounding her, like a bubble that pushes us back. If anyone at home knows any way of getting around this, please get on the Human and Equestria speedrun Discord.
Discord. What the heck kind of relation did this guy have to Discord?
Suddenly, his crazy talk was starting to make a lot more sense.
However, at certain points, AJ lets us off the hook and we can wander around a limited area without needing to be near her. She'll just keep walking until she hits a checkpoint. If the player isn't there when AJ arrives, she'll wait for us to catch up, which loses time because AJ is the one that actually loads in Carousel Boutique. So Pony Runner needs to do as much as possible here, but still be at the checkpoint exactly on time. It looks like an auto scroller, but there's 0 downtime.
Applejack was almost cross-eyed from the strain of figuring out just what in Equestria this unicorn was talking about. She almost didn't notice him wander into an alley, just on the edge of what she considered acceptable boundaries for wandering off, and dive headfirst into a dumpster.
Sure, Q, what in tarnation are you doing?
Suddenly, he exploded out of the dumpster, scattering trash everywhere. He was holding aloft a ratty bag of bits, glowing like he just discovered some incredible treasure. An intermediate number of centuries later, a unicorn felt a tingling down her spine, certain that a bond of kinship had been forged across the millennia.
This 15-bit bag is actually guaranteed to be in here, which is very convenient because it's important for a glitch coming up soon. And, for some reason, opening the dumpster makes AJ's cart move very slightly faster.
He put the ratty thing in his mouth and trotted back to her cart. She really did not want to think about where it had been. She quickened her pace. She needed something, anything to distract the unicorn. And herself.
Oh, look, there's the famous Sugar Cube corner.
She pointed a hoof at the bright pink dessert-themed confectionery store.
Maybe the cakes will give you a free cupcake if you go in there and wash your dang mouth.
She turned to scowl at A, but there was no pony there. Only a rapidly dissipating dust cloud.
That's our audio cue. Chat, are you ready for the greatest trick in the run?
It was an exceptionally normal day in Ponyville. And Lyra Heartstrings felt like the most exceptionally normal unicorn of all. She was sitting, normally, on a bench outside Sugar Cube Corner, enjoying the normal weather and eating a deliciously normal cupcake that she had purchased, with money, from Mr. and Mrs. Cake, who she had to admit were looking extremely normal today. But there was something else, something wrong. She felt a buzzing in her horn. That was not normal. If she concentrated, it almost sounded like a crowd of ponies, a crowd that was chanting something. Something which sounded an awful lot like Lyra Launch. Something was approaching her, approaching fast. She turned, cupcake forgotten. It was a yellow unicorn with a red mane, galloping directly towards her at top speed, kicking up a trail of dust in his wake. The chanting was audible now.
Lyra
Launch!
Lyra
Launch!
Lyra Launch! Mares. Suddenly, the unicorn snatched up a nearby trash can off the sidewalk with his magic and launched it straight at her. She didn't have time to yell, let alone grab it with her own magic, or cast a shield, or do anything else a unicorn could. All she could do was hold her hooves in front of her head and hope. There was a loud clang. The trash can was thankfully empty, but it still hurt. She dropped her cupcake and leaned away, hunched over in surprise and pain. She was filled with rage and brimming with tears. Who wants to be Lyra, just for the moment? Anyone?
I guess I
Yes,
will.
it's you. Go.
Yes. Who did this lunatic think he was? She was going to give him. Wait, what? Am I
I
reading
guess
that?
I think it's a thought. I think it's a thought. The context is weird. Anyway, she was going. Yeah,
She was going to give him a piece of her mind.
she didn't get the chance. Something big and furry landed in the space between her back and the bench. She yelped in fear and snatched bolt upright. This had an unexpected effect. She felt like she was leaning back through soft, furry yellow jello. It was the unicorn. He was facing through her body. Suddenly, everything began to vibrate, as if an enormous amount of force were being channeled out of Lyra's body and into her attackers. He became a blurry haze, the mere suggestion of a pony, and then he was gone. Lyra looked up, and fear and anger replaced with confusion and wonder, as she saw the unicorn fly straight up into the air and mid-air dodge roll into the third-story window of Sugar Cube Corner. There was cheering this is so good. Pinky felt like a doozy was coming on. Something totally unexpected. Ear flop, eye flutter, but then knee pinch, which meant watch for broken windows or watch for rolling rocks, one or the other. But her tail was twitching, or so something must be falling. And she'd had that all over tingly feeling she got whenever a new pony showed up in Ponyville, which could only mean. She smiled and turned to her bedroom window, just as a yellow-coated unicorn with a red mane and a cutie mark depicting a ball with a lightning bolt smashed through it.
If you've ever seen a Spyro speedrun, that was basically a proxy. Lyra has a unique sitting animation, and we can hit her. To cause her to go into a pain animation, and that makes enough space to wedge ourselves between her and the bench. Then, when she goes back to idling, her animation pushes us inside her hitbox. The physics has no idea how to handle it, so it just launches us directly upwards at terminal velocity. And because we didn't jump, the game thinks we're still grounded. So there's a few frames where we can input a roll mid-air to get through the window. Basically, when Lyra loses her lunch, we get launched.
Pinkie Pie.
Gina, there's a new pony in town.
Pinky gasped.
I was going to throw you a party before you got here, but then I remembered I'm supposed to ask you if you want to party before, because Twilight said I need to be more considerate about throwing parties for ponies who don't want parties after that one time with Cranky Dude, and then the other time that I threw a party for the new repair pony, and he was avoiding me somehow, so I had every pony in Ponyville secretly manipulate him into Cutie Cube Corner as part of a giant conspiracy to throw him into the best ever.
She gasped for breath.
Oh my God. But he didn't like the party, and now he has a restraining order because he thought I was gonna bait him into a cupcake or something. I would never do something like that.
She said,
Oh my
smiling. Oh my goodness.
The emphasis she did on restraining order, like a question mark, was so good.
Restraining order? I just can't imagine.
Crazy thought, you guys. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. I would never. even though the unicorn was nodding along, listening with apparent rapt attention, she still got the impression he wasn't really hearing anything she had to say. It didn't bother her, though. She got that reaction a lot. She continued speaking unabated.
Remember like 10 minutes ago?
Said Pony Runner.
I said there was one place where you couldn't skip text boxes. The devs coded in a joke here where if you mash through Pinky's text, she gets annoyed that you're not paying attention and starts talking really slowly. You have to progress the text with a very specific rhythm. But it actually doesn't matter what language we use because the time you have to wait is hard-coded per text box. And talking to Pinky is actually mandatory. Remind me to talk about when we do depression skip.
I had a twitch tail, so I knew you were coming through the window.
Oh, shit, Pinky. She inhaled, catching a whiff of something that was distinctly not sunshine and rainbows.
Wow, you smell kind of bad.
She said with undiminished joviality.
Have you been dumpster diving? Did you find anything cool?
He jiggled the sack of bits.
Wow, kind of smell though. I know just the solution.
She said. Pinky produced an entire bathtub from off-screen, complete with gummy, of course, and dumped the entire contents over A. Pinky.
Think
Oops, sorry, did my knock tangent, sorry.
when
Your
you
mic is
so
cutting
you
out.
pitch so high, you
It
go
did
into
too
like
high. I'm sorry.
You
I was like, yeah, let me tone that down a little.
can't handle it. All right, Flash.
This interaction is unfortunate.
Said Pony Runner.
It's random and only happens if someone sees you dumpster diving, sort of like Stardew Valley. Luckily, because of this exact routine we've been taking so far, the RNG is set up to always trigger it here. And this event also clears the status, so other NPCs won't comment on it. Everything is part of the route, trust us.
So, you want me to throw you a party?
Pinky beamed.
This is a fake choice. The dialogue loops until you say yes.
I knew you'd want a party. I promise it'll be the best, funnest party you've ever had. Except it won't be ready today. It'll be ready tomorrow?
She screamed as if this were her greatest idea since pre-peeled cupcakes.
I'll definitely be there.
Said A.
Spoilers. but we skipped the party.
Wow. Wow. That's
Aw.
crazy.
Whoa.
That's
No.
a depression skip.
Wow.
Villain.
Depression
Villain.
mode.
Pinky's eye twitched. The audience booed.
Oh, she heard it.
Oh.
So true.
The, the unicorn made to climb back out of the broken window.
What?
Screamed Pinky. She was sweating. She didn't know why.
Forgot to ask your name for the banners.
She was filled with inexplicable dread.
My name's A.
He said,
And there's the only reason why our name is one character long.
he jumped.
It's like a Batman scene. My name is A.
My name is It's stupid. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Oh, next chapter. The full reverse half rarity.
Oh, don't.
Ah,
Oh, this is AJ.
And here's the best. Wait. And there's here. And this here is a Ponyville Market.
Applejack turned to look at her strange acquaintance. He was still there. He had been there. Had he been there this whole time? He was soaking wet, but at least he no longer stank. Maybe he'd actually taken her suggestions to heart.
I need to drop off this load of apples at my brother Big Mac's stall. So y'all just wander around, see the sights, spend some time, or spend some of them dumpster bits. Talk to anybody else but me, please.
The bizarre stallion dashed off into the market. A brief moment of respite amidst the madness. Now to deliver these apples. Applejack was being very weird this run, uncooperative. She was definitely taking at least a second longer than usual to trigger her dialogue. But even in spite of this, he could feel the pace he was on. Almost everything besides the first drop clip had gone perfectly, but that pace could slip at any moment. He'd have to do it, and he needed to do it first try. But that was later. He grabbed a physics object crate in his magic, jumped, flicked the camera around, and fired. Another quick launch, sailing directly over the Flower Sister stall, who, of course, screamed and ducked for cover.
Remember how we did that hoof grip tutorial way back at the start of the run?
Said Pony Runner.
And that bag of bits we've been carrying around? This is where it all comes together.
His target was a fruit stall, but not Applejack's. No, he needed a different kind of apple. Pony Runner had never watched the show, but Tropical Slice had the distinctive look of an original
He's
character.
so me.
She had a bright orange coat, unkempt green hair, and most importantly, a cutie mark of a pineapple. She was joined by her daughter, Pina Colada.
Pina colada.
Yeah, but it's a tilde, so it's Pina
That's just how you spell
Colada.
it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
But this was irrelevant.
This is our victim. We're going to absolutely ruin her career and the economy. Can one of you explain this for me?
Wait, no, he shouldn't have said.
Sure, I'll take this.
Said the Rainbow Dash guy. Sniff for me, Coles. Thank you. All yours.
So basically, what Pony Runner is going to do here is an item dupe that you can only do when you have one inventory space.
Pony Runner interacted with Slice, opening the trading window. On his side, there was only a single square of space, occupied by the bag of 15 dumpster bits. On Tropical Slice's side, there was a long list of various tropical fruit.
Now,
Dash Guy narrated.
he's going to hover over the pineapples, buy as many as possible with the 15 bits, and then he's going to confirm the purchase. And on the exact next frame, he's going to press X to drop the bit bag from his mouth. Now we have the pineapples in our inventory, and the bit bag is still on the floor. He's just going to drop the pineapples, pick up the bag, and repeat.
Oh, that was perfectly fine? Correct, even. Crisis averted. This is Gage, Shores.
We have one inventory space, but we can hold 99 of the same item in it. Don't ask where we're keeping these pineapples.
Said Gage, to much audience amusement.
Oh, and this only works before we get the saddlebags from Rarity.
Dash Guy continued.
Because afterwards, bits go into a wallet thing. Bit bag objects stop appearing in your inventory. You can still do, but it's way slower.
While I'm duping, can someone explain why we need 99 pineapples?
Luna was tired beyond belief. But with significantly fewer pony dreams during the day, this was her best opportunity to narrow down the source of the disturbance. Follow the buzzing. And she had. The thing before her was less of a singular nightmare and more of a writhing mass of souls, all pulling with and against each other. Luna tucked her wings and alighted silently before it. This had to be it. But what was it? Only one way to find out. The princess of the night drew forth a thin white strand from her horn and cast it backwards, tethering her to the dream realm proper, a safety line to guard against whatever lay below. She spread her wings once more and dove, horn first, in, and slammed her horn first right into some sort of screen. At first, she thought she had failed to penetrate the anomaly, but upon closer inspection, she was no longer in the dream realm at all. To her right, she felt a writhing mass of minds, restrained but desperate to be unleashed. But in front of her, beyond the screen, lay a very strange scene. There were 3 ape-like creatures, one sitting close to the screen, and 2 sitting far apart on the sofa, some ways behind it. She was reminded vaguely of Sunset Shimmer's description of the creatures from the Mirror Realm, but she had never seen those humans with her own eyes. One of them was speaking.
The story is roughly that we need to make friends with at least one member of the main 6, including Luna and Starlight, at which point Celestia will invite us to Canterlot Castle to meet her.
She said the ape thing with the long mane seated on a sofa further back. Oh, that was Dash, I think.
Oh, it was?
I think so. It's seated on a sofa further back.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. What, do you want me to read it?
This is
you want
you're
to,
still
yeah.
going.
Okay.
Yeah.
The story is roughly that we need to make friends with at least one member of the main 6, including Luna and Starlight. At which point Celestia will invite us to the Canterlot Castle to meet her.
All right, so
I'll just say
This
it again.
this unlocks Canterlot as a selectable destination at the train station, which is our only way of getting her this early in the game. This is any %, so naturally we'll be killing her instead.
kill Celestia. What manner of diabolical plot has she stumbled upon?
I think you're still going, Goals.
This is okay. Our only options for friendship in this run are AJ, Rarity, Twilight, and Pinky, and of course Luna. And by friendship, I mean dating sim. and by dating, I mean pineapple feeding and menu sim.
Luna, while not quite as shocked as she had been at the revelation that they were planning to kill her sister, was nevertheless shocked. It was hard to decipher what exactly those creatures meant, but it seemed they intended to manipulate the element wielders in order to get close to Tia. And if they got close enough... Schultz.
Perhaps this was some scheme of Chrysalis.
She thought. The changelings had been... She's going to turn them into gay bugs, she thought. The changelings had been reformed, but their former queen was still at large, and doubtless hungry for revenge. From the way they spoke, they must have some agent in Ponyville. One which, for all intents and purposes, seemed like a normal pony.
Voting looking
This
like...
is the... Let me check, said an unseen voice that sent odd shivers of electricity down Luna's spine. Twilight is still...
That's me, dude.
This isn't you, this is Engage. This is the announcer. This is the
Oh,
announcer.
it is, you're right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not very clear.
Yeah,
It's not.
It's very
Isn't Gage the announcer?
No. There's the Dash guy. There's Gage.
It's not clear because
and then
it's from
there's Pony Runner.
Celestia's point of view.
Okay.
And then there's a fourth one, and the fourth one is the announcer.
Okay.
Yeah. Scammed, bro. This game is crazy. Fuck.
Yes.
Shut up. All right, I'm gonna just back. I can make. Liv, you take that line.
Which one?
This one where it says "Let me check."
Let me check.
Said an unseen voice that sent odd shivers of electricity down Luna's spine.
Twilight is still in lead with $38,000. Wait, is that my line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twilight is still in lead with $38,000, but in second place, Luna has actually overtaken Rarity and is sitting at $27,000 to 25. Keep those donations coming, guys.
Good lord, what kind of stream is this?
Perfect, though.
Usually speedruns are charity streams.
Yeah.
It's just very popular.
Oh yeah. On the one hoof, how dare they try to murder her sister to solicit charity money? On the other, how dare they vote for Twilight over her?
A better pony.
Bro, Abe, your stream is crazy.
Luna voters, you still have time to save the run. Get out there and donate.
Now Luna was even more confused. Now this is Flash,
Let me explain.
said the ape creature sitting closest to the screen.
All of them, for some reason, accept pineapples as gifts, which increases friendship. So any pony should be fine, right? Wrong. Luna is the fastest option by a lot. Not only does she introduce the friendship mechanic to us later, so we don't have to go out of our way to befriend anyone, but she absolutely loves pineapples for some reason. It makes the run go by so much faster. You'll see.
Wait, the run?
That was Sombra.
It was? What?
No,
No,
I'm saying
Sombra
that left.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, the run? She knew what this was. She had simply been looking at this scene from the wrong perspective. She lacked context. Luna drew upon all of her gamer instincts.
How would she know?
'Cause she's a gamer.
Yeah,
She
she's a
was-
gamer.
It was even worse than she could have imagined. They were speedrunners. She had to warn Celestia.
Before it was too late.
Die in the game, you die in real life.
It's so true. Tropical Slice felt like he was going insane. She could have sworn she had given the stallion his order of pineapples at least 10 times now. Yet every time she looked up, there he was, bit bag in mouth. The floor was covered in pineapples. Finally, the unicorn handed over the bits. She handed over the pineapples, and he left with his ill-gotten gains. AJ was now on her way to Rarity's boutique, having left the cart in Big Matt's hooves for the time being. As she approached the market entrance, she scanned the area nervously for any yellow sign of the strange unicorn. She couldn't see him yet. She felt guilty, but a part of her feverishly hoped that he had disappeared back to whatever dimension had spat him out, or at least gotten him lost in the market. Her hopes were dashed, however, when a yellow blur slammed into the ground, inches from her head. The instant she laid hoof at the market's exit, followed by a box of pineapples, she sighed.
It's Applejack.
Yeah.
Rarity.
The boutique was closed, but that wasn't going to stop Applejack. She was desperate.
Rarity, I need to talk to you. It's an emergency. Get your flank down here.
There were hoofsteps,
Can't
followed
yell.
by a distant voice.
Applejack language. Sweetie has a friend over upstairs.
I guess this is
A
AJ.
friend.
Yeah.
A
All of
friend. CMCs were all nigh on inseparable. Anyway,
The door opened, revealing the aforementioned white fashionista unicorn. She still had mane curlers in.
This had be better important. Applejack, it is my day off.
She leaned her head to one side, locking eyes with the yellow unicorn standing behind Applejack.
Who is? What's...
that's what I need to talk. I need to talk to you. Can we come in?
Thank you, kids. Applejack was glancing around nervously, ears laid flat against her head.
Oh well, I suppose.
Great.
She grabbed her unicorn companion and threw him bodily through the doorway.
Go on. Get.
It was time. Flashbang.
Once we load in, I'll be attempting one of the hardest tricks in the run. There's a walkabout section. Followed a cutscene that's really long, explains the whole plot, and we're going to try to skip all of it. This is absolutely not marathon safe, so I'll go for it once. And if we miss it, we'll just watch the cutscene normally.
Inside the boutique, Rarity was heading for the kitchen, presumably to boil the kettle for her two guests. Pony Runner, however, was interested in something else. The ponykins lining the back wall. What the hell's a ponykin?
No. It's
Luna.
called the full
mannequin.
reverse half rarity.
She said, and
And it's called the full reverse half rarity because if you discover a trick, you get to name it. And I discovered this trick.
he grabbed a ponykin in his magic.
First, we need to speed rarity up.
He held the ponykin over Rarity's head.
Oh,
and
it's a
pushed down-
mannequin.
A ponykin. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah. He
What is a
held-
ponykin?
It's
Like
a
a
pony
mannequin, but it's a
mannequin.
pony.
Oh, okay.
It's not,
Oh, my
not
goodness.
easily. That's, it needs more context.
It does. He held the ponykin over Rarity's head and pushed down firmly. She felt a sudden pressure on her horn
Oh
and
dear.
closed her eyes. When she opened them,
gracious.
she was in the kitchen. Funnily enough, she couldn't remember how exactly she'd gotten into the kitchen or when.
What was I doing again?
She asked herself.
Oh yes, the tea.
She took a single step forward and suddenly found that the tea had been boiled, brewed, and placed upon the table. She didn't remember doing any of that either.
This is one of
This
the.
is Flash.
This is one of the only examples of a horn bonker in Run. Rarity has a horn, which sticks out of her hitbox, obviously. By jamming something on her head, the game thinks she's gotten stuck on a physics object, and just teleports her to the next pathing node. You do this way more in True Ending, since there are actual unicorns you know, interact with.
If there's one consistent
This is
theme of
me.
this run, that's not my bad.
If there's one consistent theme of this run, it's the
Said game.
physics. It's the physics not knowing what's going on when things are inside of each other.
Now for the difficult part. He placed the ponykin down in front of the kitchen counter and leapt. First on top of the ponykin, then on top of the kitchen shelves.
We aren't allowed to go upstairs, but thankfully Carousel Boutique has conveniently weird geometry. Epilepsy warning, by the way.
From there, he jumped to the clock above the kitchen window, where he perched precariously, pixel perfectly.
The ceiling curves inwards in a dome shape, so we can do this.
He spun the camera and fired into his own face. He ragdolled straight through the wall.
We have now entered the Rainbow Hell Zone.
A garish nightmare of colors stretched on infinitely. Carousel Boutique merely an island in a sea of blinding after images, like a hull of mirrors in a rainbow factory.
And now,
Interesting, said Pony Runner, reaching below his seat.
this is how it's going to go down.
He produced 3 pieces of cardboard, with a drinking cup glued between each layer, and a tiny Fluttershy figurine.
Is this me?
Yeah, it's
okay. We are falling down out of here.
He mimed a Fluttershy, leaving the middle layer,
and heading towards here.
placing her on the lowest layer. We're going to fall into the... Oh, my bad.
We're going to fall into the void for about 40 seconds.
He said.
I promise this is faster than watching the cutscene. Eventually we will hit this plane, called the wrap point. When we hit it, our height, the z-axis coordinates, will overflow from negative to positive. This will instantly teleport us to the height limit of the map.
I'm trying to track out what he's doing here.
Don't think there's a possible way to.
He's got to use Fluttershy somehow.
If he's blindly walking, he's probably on top of
breaking the game.
invisible walls.
Oh.
Let's go into the back rooms.
Oh, he is.
In the back rooms.
He moved Fluttershy to the top layer.
But there's a problem. We're now in something called a void out zone. When you're inside a VZ, you, naturally, void out. Like when you fall in a bottomless pit. This puts you back where you were just standing. Normally that's called a actor last stable position, which stores the last chords when you were on solid ground.
He demonstrated with Fluttershy.
But, because we're above the map, we have what's called a Pegasus void out.
It was time for a certain couch commentator's redemption arc. He turned to face the Dash guy.
Guess Fluttershy did make an appearance after all.
That was
He said-
was that
he
what you?
said-
Me
he- no,
talking
this
to
is
the
fine, this is
dash.
fine.
Oh, okay.
He said, putting the prop down.
You do full game runs. Can you explain this part?
I guess.
He said he seemed genuinely surprised. Don't screw this up.
Normally, the sky has a soft boundary that pushes you downwards and back inwards, like similar to the one Applejack, the one around Applejack, but weaker. Above that is something called a Pegasus void out zone, which we can glitch into with the Pegasus flight in full game runs. A PVZ behaves weird. It takes your last X and Y coordinates, but instead of height, it just draws a line down from the sky to find the highest stable ground and warps us from there. Or warps us to there, sorry.
Exactly.
Pony Runner interrupted.
Because our X and Y were set when we were in the ceiling in the kitchen, the void out warps us up from there, directly into...
He hit the zone. Sweetie Belle was a little bored. She wasn't really sure what she'd been expecting, but it was probably a little more... She couldn't think of the word, but it wasn't this. Don't get her wrong. She was fine watching PGDQ with button mash. I wonder what that is. She enjoyed
It's
a...
usually the event. Like, it's what it is called.
Oh, okay. She enjoyed a good speed run now and then, and the runs were fine this year. It's just that Button was being so weird. He was mostly just sitting in silence, eating popcorn and staring at the screen. Occasionally, he'd risk a glance at her before quickly looking away and when he noticed her looking. And when she tried talking to him, he'd just say one word, turn bright red, and start cramming popcorn into his mouth. It was nothing like how he usually acted. What was wrong with that cult? Was it
Is-
Sweetie's fault? Was it Sweetie's fault? Was it all that lawyer stuff? Maybe it was his mom. He'd really wanted to watch pony games done quick, but she wouldn't let him. With her own parents out of town, typical, she thought bitterly, but at least they weren't Skidaloo's parents. Yeah, honestly. Yeah. The
Dang.
only the only option was Rarities. Button had hauled the crystal TV the entire way from his house, up the stairs, and into Rarity's inspiration room. Sweetie wished he'd had that kind of dedication for, talking to her. Women are scary, Sweetie Belle. You forget this. She turned back to the TV. There was something weird about this whole situation. Everything was contrived. She felt like she was being set up for some kind of prank. And if she squinted, the runner stopped looking at like a pony, and the game we played seemed oddly familiar. There was a thump as something landed on the ceiling. This is Gage.
Pony Runner has to be extremely careful here. He can slide off the roof very easily.
Game of voice, unnaturally doubled by the TV.
He needs to stand here and slide back inbounds on the exact right pixel, so he hits the stairs on the same frame he activates the Sweetie Mash cutscene.
A yellow hoof glitched through the wall. It began to shuffle around the circumference of the room towards the stairs. The hoof was followed by a head with a red mane. Even Button Mash unglued his eyes from the TV. There was no need to watch it anymore. It was happening for real. Flash.
We're going to start this cutscene and then try to leave downstairs. This tells the game we're at a different point in the cutscene. And the Rarity cutscene gets confused and skips to the end. And oh, look, Twilight's here. And we have the saddlebag.
It was impossible to tell who grabbed who first, but one could be certain that they both screamed together.
This saves about 4 seconds.
God. Oh man. Luna is doing 90% of the work. What do you know?
I mean,
Obviously. All right. How
Pick
many
up
chapters
this
we have
list,
left? We got 1, 2, 3 more chapters. So
It's good so far.
it's great. Flash. No, this is Luna.
okay. And they use glitches and exploits to finish without really playing the game. It is basically cheating.
Oh, yes, and you know this because?
Asked Celestia. Luna had canceled all of Celestia's midday meetings on her behalf violently, summoned the royal guard, and had dragged her into Celestia's private study in the middle of one of her petitions about funding an orphanage to talk about this. Luna's eyes were bloodshot as she was drooling everywhere. Celestia was concerned and confused.
Have you forgotten, sister?
He puts his sunglasses on.
It's so true.
Are you gonna
You
narrate?
have to say it, buddy. It's you.
Well,
That's you.
No,
didn't-
no, no,
you
you
didn't
just
read
read
the
the-
middle.
Yeah. Luna, what? Okay, do I have to spray spittle, or does he? do it?
No, Luna
you-
shook
you
her head,
read-
sprang spittle.
No, you didn't read the line.
I did. I thought I did. Oh gosh, I
No.
thought I did. Oh, I'm losing my mind. Oh god. Luna shook her head, spraying spittle.
I was a gamer girl back in 2013. I know all about speedrunners and their evil desire to ruin video games for every pony.
And they want to kill me?
Their depravity knows no bounds. They would just clip through them anyway.
She ended. Celestia sighed.
Very well. I'll remain in the castle while you investigate. But please get some help. Sleep, you little. Yes, you go get some help. I think I see a supernova in your mane.
Luna blanched and turned her head sideways in embarrassment.
I will. And I will get to the bottom of this, sister. Mark my words.
She turned on her hooves and took flight, crashing directly into the study's door.
After a little nap.
She said through gritted teeth, I see why you say she's best princess. I agree. While Rarity tried to calm the panicked Phillian cult.
Shut up.
Wow. I'm going to start a fight here. While Rarity tried to calm the panicked Phillian cult, Twilight took it upon. I can just see you kissing Chorus donating to that stream, just trying to fucking out donate each other between Twilight.
Yeah,
and
no, I had to sell all my possessions.
um.
Also, my kidneys, and my stomach, and my heart.
Oh God, you can't love Luna. You can't love Twilight without a heart.
Sure you can.
She already has it.
Oh,
Aw.
Yeah, I know.
Just teasing.
so true. While Rarity tried to calm the panicked Philly cult, Twilight took it upon herself to escort their strange intruder back to her castle. He didn't seem evil, just very, very weird. This is what happens when a mare meets a brony. This is a reality. Not just the whole I'm a human from another dimension thing. That she could almost understand. She had a whole mirror in her basement that did exactly that. No, as weird as in blasting himself with boxes, phasing through walls, using Lyra as a springboard. If what Applejack said was true, and she was fairly confident that AJ wouldn't lie to her, maybe it was something to do with the dimensional transfer process. Where was Star Scrolls Dimensional Treaties Volume 4 when she needed it? Maybe she should just ask him for another copy. He did owe her a lot of favors.
I completely forgot to mention this.
Said the human unicorn.
But right here is where Pinky would jump us with the oh sorry. But oh my lord. But right here is where Pinky would jump us with the party invite if we hadn't glitched into her room and triggered it early. It's the same length either way, but since we're waiting for Applejack, it makes sense to just do it then.
And I think that's Gage, my bad.
And I think it's time to close the donation incentives, right?
Said Gage.
Let's hear him. But if Luna's in the lead, I'm closing them instantly. It looks like Twilight is still in the lead with 38K, but Luna is definitely close. Oh, just received the donation. I think you'll hear.
The announcer.
We have
We
a
have-
whopping. Oh, who is this?
I think it's him.
I think it's my word.
Oh, okay.
We have a whopping 10K from Rarity.
From
It
Chorus.
says- Oh,
It
it's
said, yeah.
Oh,
That's you.
that's
My
not-
bad.
okay, my bad. It says my little sister and her cult friend.
How do you feel? How do you feel their kiss, knowing that your princess lost?
Yeah, because I just
Again.
donated $10,000.
This is my thought process.
Just to spite it.
What if A player actually did that?
Yeah, he probably would.
Donate all his limbs to do it.
No, he just stole the money.
So freaking true.
Oh my goodness.
This is my
Cult
thoughts,
friend?
I think.
Your thoughts? Your thoughts? You
Cult
think?
friend.
That's right. That's right.
Someone's
Nope.
playing a
Yeah, it is.
little too hard in the dono messages.
Thought Pony Runner.
Mm.
This is the announcer.
Have been watching the marathon all day, so I thought I'd donate to remind them to pick up after themselves when they're done. And do not try to eat so much popcorn, sweetie. You'll spoil your appetite. I couldn't choose between all the options, so I think I'll let the runner choose what he wants.
There it was.
And the runner's choice is, I believe, Luna.
Said the announcer.
which
Which
puts Luna in the lead with $42,000. Thank you so much
myself.
for your very generous donation.
Wow, based.
God,
Killing myself.
this is
Close.
Gage
Close it. Close the bid war. We're done.
and the announcer.
And who am I to say no? The winner of the best pony insensitive is Princess Luna.
Pony Runner side with relief.
So true.
Whoever you are,
Hey,
So
Hey.
real.
saved the run.
failed fanfiction.
God.
So real.
So fake. All nerd.
God. The journey back to Twilight's castle went by quicker than normal. Surprisingly so. Every so often, Twilight felt something hit her horn, but whenever she looked up, there was nothing there. A stray rain cloud? She was positive she wasn't teleporting. Was she? Her human unicorn, Humicorn, seemed to be keeping up at least. She flung the door open with her magic.
This is where you'll be staying while the girls and I figure out what's up. Crazy
Most
bastard.
Most ponies who saw her crystal castle were, at the very least, interested. Usually they were impressed, or in awe, or one of many other similar emotions. Heck, she still found herself craning her neck to take in the sights. In particular, the strange geometry of the tree trunk never failed to impress her, almost as if the castle interior was in a completely different place, and the door simply loaded it in. Now that she thought about it, a lot of the buildings in Ponyville felt like that. The human turned pony, however, seemed much more interested in one of the supply closets, the ones Starlight and Spike kept opening and throwing junk into until they collapsed on the next pony who opened them, which was precisely what happened to her unicorn guest when he opened it. She picked the whole mess up in her magic and quickly sorted everything back into its proper shelf.
No, the guest rooms are this way. I know. The door all look the same. I'm working on a floor plan and labeling system,
What's going on, guys?
but world-ending disasters just keep getting in the way. You know how it is.
Twilight said, giving him a knowing look. He was still holding a bucket.
I need this for a clip later.
Okay.
She pushed open the door to the guest room. It wasn't exactly modestly sized, but it was a fair sight smaller than some of the other, more luxurious rooms of the castle. This room, however, was special in other ways pertaining to security and observation. If some pony wanted to say, secretly observe and study an alien life form without them knowing, they may or may not have chosen this particular room for that purpose.
If you need anything, or if you recover your memories, just ring the bell.
Which she dinged with her magic.
To let me know.
She frowned.
Oh, do you have amnesia, right? We established that rarities, didn't we?
Chat, I have no idea what the plot is. I haven't played casually in years.
Twilight grimaced and chuckled nervously. She could have sworn it was midday moments ago, but it was now dark outside the window. Had Princess Celestia already set the sun?
Well, see you tomorrow. Whatever.
She closed the door and hurried to her observation room.
Yas, queen.
Luna couldn't.
Spike predicting
I'm Valley
weather.
Girl now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Dear Comrade Celestia.
Oh my goodness.
I
Luna
lost to Luna, that bitch.
Twilight just has like a glass of
Alrighty
whiskey.
then.
Game around.
Oh my goodness.
Should have been me.
Clearly, it should have been Starlight.
Not a princess.
Yet.
I agree.
Never will be.
I agree.
What about Trixie?
Trixie's never going to be a princess.
No, I mean she's an alicorn in that one alternate
Don't tell
dimension.
Banana that.
Wait, what
Yeah,
about
but what about Big Mac though?
what about Sunset?
What about her?
I'm just saying, what about her?
I mean she's cool.
We're really just making anyone
It's
princess.
cool.
Yeah, I mean I like the switch
I'm really
over.
joined in
Yeah, she's
I'm
not
really
princess
joined in the
material,
worst
but
time,
you
so I
know
have
she's
no idea
cool.
what's going on.
Movie making.
We're reading a speedrun
Cinema.
story.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
incredible.
okay.
This might be better than the Hitler one.
Don't worry, I
it is.
joined in the
What?
middle of this as well.
The Hitler one was good.
It was so good. Anyway, Luna couldn't tell. Are you guys all watching? Hey, Kevin, you watching the stream? Because that's where we're reading from.
Oh, let me see.
Click on Aves.
Oh, I see now. Okay.
You're a PFP. Looks like the boss baby.
What, mine?
All right, anywho, start reading.
Oh my god.
Kind of does.
You talking about my
Buzz
character?
baby.
His OC is the boss.
You talking about my character?
Yes.
Hey, yo, Happy. Yeah, Happy does look like the boss baby. That's what I was thinking. Everybody keeps telling me that. I'm like, oh my god, it does.
All right,
For an
gentlemen,
update.
lady, and gentlemen, we shall continue.
Even gentle colts.
Luna couldn't tell if she had been asleep for 6 minutes or 6 hours, but she could tell she was still cranky, which she felt was the perfect mood to confront an evil, murderous speedrunner. She rested her royal rear on her meditation mat, padded for comfort, the mat, not her, oh my god, and to cast the spell that would draw her into the dream realm. The anomaly was exactly where she left it, but this time a single thin cable of dream magic trailed out of it. Luna diligently traced to its end, whereupon she found it tethered to a pony's dream. She prepared herself for combat and dived in. She felt very two-dimensional. more so than usual. There was a very blurry photograph of a high school classroom behind her. She heard soft and unobtrusive music, and there was the unicorn. Who's skipping the dialogue?
Oh,
Okay,
this
this is
is
yours.
me.
Yeah.
Halt, Falcon! How dare the princess?
Oh no, he was already skipping her dialogue. She would need every ounce of her strength to hold on.
Oh, you. The magic of. Then prove it.
Pony Runner's hands flew across the keyboard. He was menuing harder than he'd ever menued in his life. Luna felt she had known this stallion all her life. His tragic past in the orphanage, his struggle with mental illness, his triumphs, his marriage,
Wow.
his desolation at her death, the loneliness in
Holy
being
crap.
separated from his
I have
family.
more.
You do.
Lord?
She pitied the poor creature. No, not just pity, it's something else. Something more. He after a 15th pineapple.
Oh no.
No.
Wait, what?
This would work on me.
So
15th
I got you,
pineapple.
Shores. I got you.
it's a speedrunner strat where he's quickly dating Luna to get her affection.
Oh my.
He hoofed her a 15th
Hey.
apple.
Okay. Well, actually, you know what? I wanted to say something, but you know what? I can't because otherwise I feel like it's just weird.
It's just silly.
I'm
Anyway,
not. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it was love. Definitely love,
Now you may be asking,
said Pony Runner.
how did we get
Friendship
real
is love.
pineapples into the dream realm? The answer is very carefully.
Let's just call it lucid dreaming.
Said the Dash guy. Wow, that was actually funny. He was improving.
I was wrong. I hope you don't think. I will. Farewell for now.
And with that, we've reached heart level 6. We are officially dating Princess Luna.
Declared Pony Runner to thunderous applause. This is peak fiction right here. What do I mean peak? This is actually real. This really happened. A brief fade.
Is this lore accurate?
This is just this actually happened.
Does this happen in the
real
show?
life.
I wouldn't know.
It
Well,
was
this
an
happens in real
episode,
life.
yeah.
This is a part of the show.
Okay, nice.
No doubt about it.
It was season 10.
We're now in
This
the end game.
Oh, okay.
That
This
doesn't. That doesn't sound like it's in the show. We're now
it's
in
in
the
the
end
show.
game.
It's
What?
absolutely in the show. A brief fade to black, and was once and A was once again wide awake.
We're now in the end game. Canterlot is open, and the only thing between us and killing Celestia is pure execution. No waiting,
What?
no plot, just action and killing Celestia.
That's Gage.
But first, remember that party Pinky was throwing for us? We need to skip it.
God, Pony
Villain.
Runner dodged, rolled out of bed, and grabbed the bucket.
This is called clinical depression skip. Don't ask what happens
Oh,
at
this
the
is-
party casually.
I think this is Flash.
I don't.
Oh.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Clinical depression skip. He held the bucket against the wall and simply walked straight into it.
Walls don't actually exist if you have a bucket. Don't believe big walls lies.
I don't. That's why I'm trying to break into the pony roll by just thinking about it.
Just grab a bucket.
Why do you
and
need to
run
grab
into
a
it full
bucket?
Speed,
I'm just
and you'll
gonna.
clip into Equestria.
I will. You're right. I will. You could also clip into Equestria with a 9mm, but we won't talk about that.
Whoa.
Oh,
No, better yet than 4.
No.
No, don't
That
kill
was
yourself. You're too sexy.
Forbidden skip.
He remained clipped halfway through the wall and began to carefully trot along the edge of the room, along the edge of the hallway outside.
There are
Keep it
trigger
together.
volumes everywhere. Someone really did not want you missing this party. If we step too far out of the room, Pinky will lock us into the same following state AJ did earlier. There's no escape.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, stay out of my shed.
Oh.
Stay inside my head.
Literally launching myself to kiss a big mare. Cringy.
Listen.
So true.
It might work.
So
Is that me?
All dominant mares.
Yeah, I
turn.
think
It's
still
weird. It's
going.
weird the
Still
spacing.
going here.
I guess we could just switch commentators because that's technically.
It's just
Actually, no. He's
commentary.
still going.
Okay.
He's still going. He's still going because
There
there's no.
trigger volumes outside the window, in the ceiling, and the party is directly below us. It covers the entire corridor outside too. But because the Crystal Castle's walls are thicker than normal, we can seam walk along the edge here, where it touches inbounds without hitting any of them. Oh, you can see 4 different pinkies waiting for us inside.
He pointed at his screen as if anyone else could see. The audience laughed. There were indeed 4 pinkies, all T-posing, which looked very odd on a pony. Below him, above him, in the corridor, and standing dangerously atop some sort of flying contraption outside the window. Every inch of the castle had been covered in banners, each with a single solitary letter, A. Pony Runner
Now with the
trotted-
better E.
E. Pony Runner trotted his character across the walls of the adjoining rooms until he came to the end of the corridor.
We've dodged the hallway trigger, but going down the stairs triggers the party, so we're going to use the stairs in a slightly different way.
He dropped the pineapple at his hooves, stood on it, and picked it up in its magic. Both fruit and pony began to vibrate and suddenly fell through the floor.
Don't ask why that happens. No one knows.
Tropical Slice was distraught at the prospect of bankruptcy. Yellow Unicorn had fallen out of the sky for a second time, this time demanding a refund for his 15 bits. The pineapples he returned were beginning to rot. She took the lot of them anyway, on the verge of tears.
Aww.
We didn't have inventory last time. We couldn't carry any money. But we do still have pineapples, so we can trade the rest of them back for money, for a train ticket.
I believe in full game runs,
Said Gage.
the best moneymaker is washing windows, right?
Dash guy nodded.
Yeah, you do some RNG manipulation. Otherwise, there's a random event where you get accused of being an alien spy by the main 6. You have to run away for a bit, and then you get caught and interrogated. It's like a 2-minute time waste.
God, I wish that was me. One more launch.
What?
And he was already at the train platform. He mashed through the ticket buying menu, bought a ticket to Canterlot with his bits to spare, and boarded the Friendship Express.
Welcome to the train. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Out of his saddlebags, he dropped his last pineapple. He opened the window, jumped out, turned, fired. With years of practice, it had become almost second nature. The pineapple connected, launching him backwards towards the train and onto its roof. From up here, it was obvious that the train was stationary. The equestrian countryside was the thing in motion, looping and loading in and out as it needed. It's been a long time, but there's a
It's me,
side
I
quest
think.
here. That's my bad.
It's been a long time, but there's a side quest here with Ditzy or Derpy, whatever her name is. The one with the
Derpy.
eyes. Train gets stopped and attacked by a bird and a cat, I think. Or demons. We'll never know. Because the Canterlot loading zone is just sitting there at the front of the train.
A gallop, a jump, and he was through. Suddenly back in bounds, he stepped off the train. Man, I can't lot. If this was a real game, I'd really want to play it. I mean,
It's a dating sim, of course,
that's,
right?
it's obviously a dating sim. I think this is a.
Fimfiction. Oh, I see.
All right, this is the big one.
I'm about to kill Celestia.
Oh no,
Yeah.
getting killed.
This is my dream
Yeah.
come true.
Eh, either way, as long as Luna lives, I'll be fine.
And it turns out I was wrong.
Except Luna.
No pony loves pineapples as much as him could be evil.
She took another bite. Leaf first. Celestia's eye began to twitch.
Luna, what are you talking about? You're dating him? You said he wanted to kill me.
Oh, he does.
She said nonchalantly.
But that, dear sister, seems like more of a you issue.
It's so big. It's so big.
She straight up said skill issue.
This is how Luna rules Equestria.
Yep.
Shorts, I'm beginning to think that you're playing this game.
It is me. That's the plot twist at the end.
Yes, it's just
Plot twist.
Luna made to take another bite. Celestia smacked the pineapple out of her magic.
Stop eating them like that.
She yelled.
You're only supposed to eat the inside.
Celestia simply turned on her own. That's such a good blind read. Well done. I love that. Celestia simply turned on her hooves and teleported away, leaving Luna's mouth hanging open and pineapple-less. She needed to calm down. She was feeling particularly Daybreaker-esque. God, I wish. A trail of magic flew to her horn, and a scroll materialized directly on top of her nose. It was from Twilight. Of course, perhaps she had good news.
Princess Celestia, I was observing the human, and he phased through the fucking wall and escaped the castle. He's boarded a train to Camelot. You're fucked. Die.
It was filled with spelling errors. It was not good news. Freed from the petty constraints of plot and physics, Pony Runner flew high above the streets of Camelot. This is this is like the line that pretexts every single bad fan fiction that you see. Is this right here?
Yeah, I was gonna say a second ago,
Just the last three.
not to interrupt, but when it says right there, I observed the human and he faced the wall and escaped the castle. When it says face the wall, I immediately think it's just Homer backing into the bush. That's how he escaped. He just slowly backed in. Yeah.
Pony Runner flew high above the streets of Camelot, atop the luggage cart of a particularly irate unicorn aristocrat. He arrived at the castle gates in mere seconds. He was very careful to never look toward the attic.
That's a gift. All right. This is basically the only combat segment of the run, or stealth segment, technically.
He dropped one singular bit from his bag on the floor and grabbed it.
The royal guards are interesting. Not sure what Celestia is paying them, but it's either not enough or too much.
Pony Runner sprinted past the two guarding the gate. They seemed much more interested in the bit than him. Someone pretend. I don't know. Anybody?
Is that contraband? Fuck you.
That's crazy, Kiss. This is your third voice. You selfish
him.
bastard.
Good for him.
He's a background pony.
That's true, he is.
What are you doing with that?
Said one. Oh, White Courts just drew that.
What?
What are you doing with that?
What are you doing with that? That's hilarious.
That was so bad for anyone that has not heard the story.
No context
Yeah,
whatsoever.
and unfortunately I haven't, so that was pretty bad.
This is gonna be the cover for the next story time.
What are you doing with that?
Don't forget to free.
Y'all are too.
He's dying.
Breathe. He's just in prominence.
I'm the narrator. I have to make it through. I gotta make it. I gotta make it to the end.
We're almost there.
We're almost
Power
there.
through.
Hold on.
It's okay, you're making it through.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I was
That's
like, I can't.
amazing.
Oh, I can't keep looking at that image. I gotta focus. He dropped. Okay, hold on. Oh God! Yes.
Bro has to pee.
I'm about to say it again just to get you to.
I'm trying to keep going. I can't make it if I can't keep going.
What are you doing with that?
Oh my goodness. Let me keep going. Okay.
This is a
Pony. Okay. Okay. Stop. Stop it. I can't. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna come to your house.
Abe, if you don't read, I'm gonna whip you.
Okay, I'm going. Is that contraband? Said one. What are you doing with that?
You violated the law. Right? Even though we're
Oh, my bad.
Here we are. Here we are.
Even though we're trespassing,
Said Pony Runner.
it gets overridden by the fact we're holding something suspicious. And if we break line of sight,
He ducked around the side of the castle and shot the coin directly at one of the guards.
must have been the wind.
yeah, I was
They
just
both
thinking,
said
What
here
was that noise?
simultaneously. Never should have come here.
Flesh wound.
and now they're too busy looking for the coin to notice we're trespassing.
He emerged from behind the wall, grabbed the luggage cart he'd flown in on, and approached the massive main doors backwards, very careful to keep them off screen.
Now for the out of bounds to get to. Oh, Wait, now for the out of bounds to get into the palace. Is this a palace or a castle? Anyway, this is why bad ends runs are so fast. They're supposed to do a whole late game optional quest thing, but I think Sombra corrupts you and you become evil. I mean, Sombra's literally loaded behind
Whoa.
this door, so I assume that's what happens. But we can just clip through the door and into the cutscene because it's always loaded at all times. That's why I'm not looking at the castle palace, by the way.
He said, walking backwards and placing the cart at a 45-degree angle.
Normally, when you press X on the door, it loads a completely different castle map. But the real castle is just behind the door. For the final fight scene, I guess, it's really laggy, so I want to keep it off screen as much as possible.
He grabbed the cart, dropped it, and was through. Excuse me. Canterlot Castle had seen better days. It looked almost pre-ravaged, with bits of black crystal sticking out of every surface at random angles. Piles of guards, dead or unconscious, surrounded King Sombra. He was also T-posing.
Sombra gets a voice.
All the
Bro,
time.
he's literally
Um,
that little rabbit creature from Super Mario 64. He's just doing that constantly everywhere. It just glitches you through a wall.
oh, really?
That's hilarious.
Okay, this is what
And
you
you
said. This is your character flashbang.
Oh, that's me? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Said A.
Yep.
Oh, dear Sombra. Did you think I'd let you have all the glory?
Said A, menacingly holding aloft the black heart talisman, which he, of course, had obtained as a part of a long and arduous quest, braving the harsh winds and snows of the Crystal Empire. He had single-hoofedly defeated a Wendigo for it, which you would have known if you'd been paying attention to the plot. All right, Shadow Sombra. Thank you.
Impossible.
Scream Sombra
Impossible.
as he disintegrated into smoke and swirled into the talisman. His horn clattered to the floor. A merely laughed. Well done. I don't know who laughed, but that was brilliant.
Yeah, that one was
Yeah.
me.
That was me. That was me.
Almost sounds
Better
like a
than-
soundboard.
Fucking sound.
Better than
that
like
was
saying
Russia.
tee hee or whatever.
Yeah, it's,
This is what he says. It was about the time he dealt with Celestia and took his rightful place on the throne.
This cutscene gives us Sombra's horn, and for some reason, auto unlocks the horn laser and shield spells.
Explain, Pony Runner.
They're nice to have, but we don't really have the mana to use them consistently.
He didn't have splits, but he could feel it. The run. This was it. He practically and sometimes literally flew down the halls. Another quick launch and halt, said a Pegasus of the Royal Guard. Before the Pegasus could even raise his spear, Pony Runner levitated a box and, swinging his mouse wildly across the full length of the desk, threw it at him at blinding speeds. The guard fell to the floor. He threw the box again and again and again.
God,
The guard was no longer moving.
I'm evil.
God.
There are a lot of guards in this area up ahead. We can't really take all of them at once in combat at this level. Luckily, they're all really stupid. If we pick up this explosive barrel and throw it in this exact spot,
He grabbed the barrel and flung it down the corridor.
all the guards and civilians come running out to investigate that, instead of the body of the guard we just knocked out.
Just as predicted.
Nerfed him.
Knocked out, quote unquote,
Yeah.
broke his neck.
I'm putting air quotes over that.
We are going to kill you with fucking boxes. Just as predicted, a steady stream of guards, cleaning staff, and dignitaries, the whole fucking castle, filed out of the throne room, all beelining straight to the source of the explosion, where they all milled around looking confused. Pony Runner simply galloped past, unseen by their narrow vision cones.
I feel like leaving explosive barrels lying around your castle would be a fire hazard.
Said Gage.
But I'm not a princess.
But
So
I'm
how
not
would
a
I know?
princess. What would I know? Coming up is the final battle with Celestia.
Gage continued.
This fight is extremely difficult casually, and we are severely underleveled for it. PR has to have complete concentration, so I'll explain what's going on.
Celestia stood alone in her throne room. The element bearers had been outmaneuvered. Her sister had been corrupted, and a full half of her ponies had abandoned her. She was undeterred. Anger did not behove, spelled wrong, behoove her naturally comforting, kind, and regal features. But the time for appearances had long since slipped past. Contrary to popular speculation, Celestia was not all-powerful. Much of her alicorn magic was bound up in keeping the sun shining. But she did have a few tricks down real horseshoes. and royal guard soldiers waiting in the wings. She held a sword under magic. Why would a magical pony princess wielding the power of the sun need a sword? Coolness factor. So true. The yellow-coated, red-maned usurper entered the throne room. She descended the steps. She knew why. She heard boss music.
I am Celestia, Princess of the Sun, and I have never known defeat.
Someone needs to mod Celestia over Millennia. Please.
That'll be you.
Except for Chrysalis twice and Tarek technically, but we need to mention them.
She advanced on the usurper and magically threw her sword forward. With expert timing, the unicorn dodged under the blade. Yanking a dark crystal out of the floor, he snapped his head instantly from left to right at a speed that would have broken any normal pony's neck, launching the crystal at incredible speed. Celestia had only an instant to shield herself from the attack. His methods were unconventional. This would be difficult.
PR increases the DPI on his mouse to increase the speed of launch objects to ludicrous levels, which will be our main source of damage in this fight.
Celestia spread her wings and launched herself clear across the room, sword aimed straight for his heart. He raised his shield and barely blocked the strike, his horn sparking from the effort.
Remember, we have an unupgraded mana and stamina. PK is the most efficient use of both in terms of DPS.
Celestia blasted her wings forward and herself backwards into the air. Keep his eyes on me, and not on what was coming. She charged her horn with the full power of the sun. At this signal of hers, Pegasi lurking in the rafters pushed boxes, filled with explosively charged crystals, down into the unicorn. Simultaneously, Earth Pony guards crashed through the windows, lining the throne room and charged. She fired a lance of pure heat. But Pony Runner jumped, grabbed several of the boxes in his magic, and launched them at Celestia. Unable to shield herself, they slammed into her body and detonated, blasting her backwards and taking a chunk out of her metaphysical health bar. But it would take more than that to kill an alicorn. Instead, she redoubled her efforts, pouring even more energy into the beam as it swept across the unicorn speedrunner. There was a bright flash as the beam connected. Every pony stopped. The charging guards skidded to a halt. The Pegasi held their explosives. Celestia withdrew her magic. The whole room was filled with smoke and the heat of molten stone. Is he? An Earth Pony guard began, only for one of the explosive crystal crates to come sailing out of the smoke and bonk Celestia in the snout.
Gage.
Oh. PR deliberately takes a hit here, because it cancels the slow special attack and makes Celestia vulnerable. Wait, you didn't take damage?
Well, if you dodge roll into the laser, the game thinks you got hit, but you don't take damage because of the iframes.
Said Pony Runner.
I'm surprised no one else uses this strat. It's really easy to pull off, even casually.
Idiots!
She yelled.
Why did you stop attacking? What am I paying you for?
But you stopped attacking too.
Said one guard, forlornly.
If you want something done right.
She flourished her sword, telegraphing her ultimate move.
Everyone struggles with this attack, but there's a foolproof way to avoid taking damage.
The sword swirled through the air as Celestia lunged forward. He would not escape this unscathed. Every square inch of air was filled with steel and death. The cowardly unicorn began to run. She had him now.
When she starts the attack, you want to run away for the first swing, then roll into her for the second swing.
Like a shark smelling blood on the water, Celestia readied the blade for her second dance of death. But the unicorn turned and jumped, somehow finding the gaps between her slashes. He was behind her now.
Impossible!
Filled with rage, Celestia turned and raised herself into the air for one final strike. Pony Runner took one step backwards. She missed. I'm trying to imagine the blade dance.
This is waterfowl dance.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to imagine.
Yeah.
He picked up one of the conveniently Pegasus provided explosives and slammed it into her face.
Then for the third, depending on where you are, you either stay still or walk backwards away from her while locked on. If you're next to her, just circle around her to the right, and she'll do the blade dance in the wrong direction. You can punish. Or you can just get good.
Celestia raised her shield as the unicorn blasted her with a burst of magic, augmented by Sombra's dark magic-infused horn, forcing her back. How was she on the back hoof? Rage broiled and burned beneath her skin. She was losing control. Why shouldn't she? Why not lose control? Why not become the better, prettier, and more powerful version of herself?
At half health, she transitions to phase 2. This is where things get interesting.
Imbeciles!
She yelled, blasting back the unicorn and her worthless world guards. She turned her head upwards towards the Pegasi, singling out one in particular. Her eyes had shrunk to gadged slits.
Stop dropping garbage into the arena for him to throw at me.
Where did that accent come from?
I try to think what that sounds like.
It works.
It does. I'm sticking with it. The Pegasus eyes also shrank, this time to pinpricks.
Yes, sir, Your Majesty, sir.
Thank you. He yelled,
Drop the
cross-eyed.
box. He sounds retarded, so yeah.
Oh god, and saluted, dropping. One second. Yes, sir. And God. He yelled, cross-eyed, and saluted, dropping the barrel of very explosive crystals and crystal accessories directly on top of her. Rose, I guess so. It depends on how well Flash's recording comes out.
I'm gonna have to like upload it to YouTube or something. I mean, I don't. It's so far. It's an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh my
Oh,
lord!
Also, Rose isn't in the call.
Yeah,
Yeah, her business was done, I think.
Oh, okay. But Celestia was no longer looking at him. Celestia was no longer present. Staring at the unicorn usurper with sun-scorched eyes, Daybreaker erupted into flames. The crystal barrel exploded. Useless. Every pony else was absolutely useless. Luna, Twilight, the other imbecile elements of harmony. What was Cadence doing to Shining Armor right now instead of helping her? Disgusting.
You little insect! You've made me use more than 10% of my power. Now, unfortunate for you.
She prepared to strike, and was hit with the full force of the explosion hitbox. She had been standing inside for the last 10 seconds. Daybreaker was blasted backwards with enough force to snap her throne in half and crater the wall behind. Gage?
Oh my god, what the was that? This is actually unbelievable.
Even Dash Guy was leading forward, mouth open, staring with unbelieving eyes at the screen.
That was like 25% of her health bar.
I have never seen that happen before.
Hold on, I need to see what I've been reading. I just kind of lost track.
We're
Did she just
down-
get fucking surrounded in?
Yeah.
Did she just get surrounded in explosives?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Full force of
It's like,
explosion
how many
hitbox.
freaking explosives do they got? Like, damn.
A box
Yeah.
of crystals and stuff.
Crystals and crystal accessories.
Yeah.
Crystal
it's probably the
okay.
explosives at the
Sort of
retarded.
Birdie, they have
dropped on
plenty of
top of her and they
crystal
hadn't exploded yet.
explosives.
Yeah,
What I'm
probably.
guessing is that Daybreaker was preparing an attack and he like attacked her at the very second, and then her entire attack was forced on her or something.
Trying to outsmart her.
Oh my goodness. Flash, when you edit this thing,
Ain't
well,
editing
I'll
crap.
make you do
I'm
the
just gonna upload it.
it's just you know, fucking stream of conscious.
This is an hour and 47 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's get to the end.
Who's
There
dying
was-
in the chat right now?
There was no
Oh,
time
God!
for delay. There was no time for delay. Pony
Do
Runner
my
had to capitalize on this blessing of RNGesus. He
God.
blasted Daybreaker with a quick lance of magic. He galloped forward, grabbed a piece of the throne, and slammed it into her head. Unlived.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not true. Well, you heard it here, folks. Those folks said the donation. Oh,
Said the donation reader.
Yeah, you heard it here,
Tech
but
being-
first one.
New speed tech being discovered live at PGDQ.
Everything under the sun was in chaos. The castle was on fire. Chunks of ceiling and wall rained down on the battlefield. Guards panicked and ran or flew for their lives. The situation was excellent for Pony Runner.
Time is coming up soon.
Daybreaker fired a lance of flame at the alicorn, who simply shielded and rolled right through. She teleported to the center of the room before he could blast her with her magic. But she was now in the perfect position. The unicorn snapped his head up and fired. The chandelier, which had been hanging there in every season of the show, just slightly off camera, was severed from its mount and came crashing down. 3, 2. That's my bad.
3, 2, 1, and
Oh my goodness.
One last chapter. This one's short.
This one's short, yeah. Pony Runner pushed himself back from the computer, laid back his head, and covered his face with his hands. He was shaking from the adrenaline and stress, but it was over. He'd done it. This is a 45-second run, 45-minute run. Oh my goodness.
Long game.
That had to have been close.
Was that damageless?
He really should learn that guy's name.
I think so. Oh, sorry.
said-
I think so.
He said, his voice came muffled through his hands. Gage brought his lapel mic closer to his mouth.
Can someone on the tech bench tell us what time that was?
Pony Runner almost didn't want to hear it. He couldn't manage more stress. With Celestia defeated, load-bearing boss that she was, the castle began to crumble around A. The unicorn turned from the rubble and slowly trotted away, out of the demolished throne room, out of the castle, out of Equestria, and into the credits.
Unlived.
The time was
Said the announcer.
45 minutes, 58 and 95 seconds.
Well, that's definitely a personal best.
He said there was some applause and a little chat spam.
It's also the world record by 6 seconds.
Everyone went wild. He collapsed in his chair. Gage grabbed him by the shoulder and shook him gently.
Rats, dude. That was a perfect run.
I wouldn't say perfect.
The Dash guy was standing beside him, too. The premonitions of a frown graced Pony Runner's forehead.
Oh, that was Dash that said wouldn't say
That was
perfect.
Dash, yeah.
Oh my god. But pretty dang close.
He smiled.
Better practice that drop clip for next run.
Pony Runner was smiling, too. He stood up. One guy at the back yelled, "Speech!" After that, a speech seemed like the easiest thing in the world.
Thank you to everyone who watched and donated. I'm so happy I got the chance to show off this run live and support this great cause. Shout outs to the coach, the, Human in Equestria Discord.
Yeah.
I know we make fun of this game and rag on it a lot, but I wouldn't keep coming back to it unless there was something really special about it. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty magical. I think everyone should give it a shot, even if it's just once. Even if it's just a quick run, a full playthrough, whatever. Give it a try. And if you want to start running the game, there's plenty of tutorials out there. We have side categories like Larson %, where you just rush the Alicorn quest. And Smile % is exactly like this run, but shorter. You get to Pinky, you clip inside her hitbox, and that kills you somehow.
No. This is how we're going to get Flash to be a brony, is like this. There was laughter and cheering. He put his arms over the shoulders of his two couch commentators, with admittedly a little hover handing.
That's everything. Thanks for having us. You can cut us off now.
And they did. I guess that's the announcer.
Thanks to Pony Runner and crew for the great run, and congrats on the world record.
Said the announcer, cueing the OC remix playlist.
Coming up next, we have a run of Prey 2020 by Cat. It's
Hey,
going to be
Cat.
a very interesting run.
Somewhere buried beneath the rubble, a small part of Celestia wondered whether he should really be celebrating, considering she wasn't actually dead yet. A much larger, louder part of her told her to shut up and let him have this, unless she wanted him to finish the job. The end.
Pretty good.
It was good. It was good.
Oh,
I
my goodness.
killed, or I think I killed Celestia.
I think you did. Let's just say that you did.
Yeah.
Wow. Did it.
Best
gentlemen,
princess is still
I
alive.
hate my only line. Like my guy was such a retard the entire time. That's not what Dash fans are actually like.
Are you sure?
I think they were making
Yes.
fun of
What
that
are-
one
what are
PGDQ
what are Dash fans
guy.
typically
No, they
Oh,
just
yeah.
wouldn't show up in public.
Where's
Well,
that one?
gentlemen, that was what, our fourth story time? Sure, see what.
I don't know. I've only been here
Yeah.
for one.
Round of applause.
Yeah,
A round of applause.
Yeah,
Did it.
it was cool.
that was.
Oh, no, it's for fun.
They've just been getting better every single time.
That
Let me
that
end this
one.
recording.